Okay, Punky, the holidays are here.
Yes, and we're ready for a jolly holiday.
What are we making today?
We are going to make some booze desserts. We have a brandy old-fashioned mousse we're making. We're making a cranberry chiffon, and we're making a chocolate mint parfait. Yes.
They all start with gelatin, right?
They all start with gelatin, and it's important that we know how to use it because it's different than the gelatin in the packets that we pour boiling water over.
Right.
We have to start with cold water. And what we have to do is 2 steps. We have to soften it first in the cold water, and then we have to heat it up to dissolve it before we add it to something else. And if we don't do that step, it'll have hard granules in it, and what will happen is it won't set up. So what we're going to do is just sprinkle some gelatin.
Now this is just Knox gelatin
Yeah,
that you buy at the grocery store.
Yeah, do not get any of those flavored because
And is this the base for the desserts?
It will help hold the dessert together because the base will be cream and egg whites.
Okay.
And then the whatever we're putting in for our flavor.
So the gelatin is a binder.
Yes, and so you can see it starting to dissolve, and I can help it, But if you spoon it right now, and if you feel it, it's very bumpy, lumpy.
Right.
Okay. So we have to let it sit for a few minutes, and while it hardens or while it softens up, then it swells up also, and that's how we get the gelatin, the thickening properties of it.
Okay.
If we didn't use it, our desserts wouldn't really set up. So if you're this is kind of like making a chiffon pie. If anyone's familiar with making a chiffon type of pie, you have a gelatin mixture with that too. And it's nice and light and airy, and that's what we want these desserts to be. So
do they all have the same base, and then do you just add the different flavors?
Similar bases. We're going to use the same amount of cream. We're going to use the same amount of egg whites, and whip those up. And they all make about 2 cups of parfait or mousse that we're making. And we have to figure out, well, how do we know what size glass we want to put them in?
Oh, these
so
are
I have
so
some,
pretty.
and I love this. I go to my resale stores, and I go to the one here on the north side, Boomerangs, and I go to a Grace because I want to support them. And you can buy these for 50 cents to $2, and they're all different sizes. And what I do, for instance, I have no idea what amount this holds, so I'm going to take some water, and I'm going to pour it in, and I usually fill it about 2/3 to 3/4 full. I want that much in it, and then I'm just going to take another cup, and then I see that this measures 1/3 of a cup.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
So then I can get, if I have all of these cups, I can get 6 desserts out of my 2 cups of parfait that I'm making.
Then you know exactly how much you're making. Great idea.
So even this tiny little one. Sometimes people just want, if you're having a hors d'oeuvre party or just a nice little fun party get together, you don't want a great big dessert like this for a sit-down dinner.
Do, but that's another story.
That'll hold a 1/2 cup. That's a pretty big thing. But if you have just small little ones, it's just kind of nice to have a lot of variety out there.
Beautiful. Okay, so which one are you going to show us how to make?
Well, we're going to look at our gelatin here and see how it's coming along. And sometimes what you have to do is just kind of feel it. Okay? You feel it and see once if it feels that it's dissolved. And I think it has. Look at yours.
And so look how thick this one is.
That has a little bit more in than mine had.
A little bit more water. Oh yeah, that's dissolved.
So when it's dissolved, now we're going to put it in the microwave or over a burner, and I'm going to show you. And this does not heat up long. This is only going to take about 10 seconds in the microwave.
10 seconds, okay.
You want to get it, so you don't want it bubbly hot. You want to just have it dissolved. So we'll get, okay. And now we can see that it's dissolved. We take our spoon and look at it. Okay, and if we feel it, now there's no lumps in there at all.
Granules.
So that's the important part to do with the gelatin. And then what we do is we usually put it in a bowl, and we're going to let this, now I usually have sugar with it and things like that, but we're just going to talk about how we can use this gelatin. We're just going to let this sit. Now we can put it over ice, we can put it in the fridge, but I always find I don't want to get it too thick because this will start thickening up. Because we want to fold in some cream and we want to fold in some egg whites.
Okay.
So we whip up egg whites with some little bit of sugar, and we whip up cream with a little sugar. Now I like, when I whip up my cream, especially to put on the top, I like to use granulated sugar.
Oh, really?
And not powdered sugar.
Why is that?
Because I think I can always taste that little cornstarch that's in the granulated sugar. So by using the powdered sugar, by using granulated sugar, I put this in at the very beginning. So it dissolves as it whips.
Okay.
So it's really kind of nice.
So this is just, tell me what's in this.
This is
just
whipped cream and a little sugar. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show a folding technique because a lot of people don't understand a folding technique. And even though this is warm, I can still put this cream in to show you a folding technique. It's, we don't really want to stir. We want to just be folding around and around.
Now, why is that?
because if we stir, we're going to deflate all the air pockets we've put in either our cream or our egg whites. And especially for these cups, we want this mixture to be pretty liquid. This is a time when we're whipping up cream. We don't want really, really firm peaks. We want to have it a little softer. And the egg whites, when we whip up those egg whites, will be softer. We're using a pasteurized egg product.
Okay.
And it's important, unless you use, farm fresh eggs and use the egg whites. This is pasteurized egg whites, and we whip those up, and they never whip up quite as firm as a regular egg white, but it's fine for our purposes.
How many egg whites do you
There's
use?
usually, we're going to use 2 egg whites for the recipe.
Okay.
Now you can see how soft this is.
Yes.
And we want this to be the same when we add the egg whites, so that we can pour it in versus having it so stiff, because when we pour it in, you don't have any air pockets.
Okay.
It has a nice smooth look to it.
Okay.
And then what we're going to talk about is after we do all of our desserts and put them in they have to sit for a couple hours or overnight.
Okay.
It's very important that we can't eat these right away, unfortunately, but it's also, you can do these up to 3 days ahead.
Okay.
So that's nice. Again, get that out of the way. Don't worry about it.
So are you adding the liqueur to the cream?
I'm adding the liqueur to the very first process. If I'm using the softening, the gelatin, I would put the liqueur in the gelatin.
Okay.
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 So, and then we get everything just folded in and put in our containers. And then we have, now, I like to use tempered chocolate, but that is a whole process on itself. And I don't want this to be a stressed holiday. We might have to have this full of our brandy old-fashioned right there before we start.
Can you assemble one for us?
I will show you.
So what is this?
This is just, all right, there's a lot of different names. This is the white chocolate bark, or you hear that term chocolate bark in the grocery stores.
Right.
Or this is candy melts, that's another term, or chocolate coating. And what it is the cocoa butter has been replaced with a vegetable fat.
Okay.
So that we don't have to temper, which is the process where once the cocoa fat is melted, it has to reconfigure itself. And if we don't go through a temper process, it won't set up correctly. Because the vegetable shortening is very stable, we don't have to worry about that. Now, I wouldn't use that to make candy or anything.
Right.
But for a quick little decoration, and I have some here, they're just a fun little, and anybody can do that. It's just a little squiggle, okay? And these are some nice little gingerbread.
Little gingerbreads? Okay.
So what we're going to do is just put a little bit in a bag. Okay. We just melt it, and this is a double boiler. I just have some hot water that I brought to a boil, and then I've chopped this up.
Now this is the white chocolate and
I put
brandy?
a little, no, this is just plain old white chocolate. I put a little color, and if you do color it, you want to use a candy, it's called the candy color, because chocolate is it has fat in it. And if
Okay.
we put in a regular food color, that's water-based. And water and oil will not mix, so we want to make sure that we have the right. And we want to cut just the littlest tip off here. Okay? And we'll have you do these two. All right, let's see, up a little bit more. A little bit more, because this is so warm and so soft that we don't want to.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
so come on over here, and what we're going to do, I just like to squiggle. It doesn't have to be anything perfect. You want to just enough that there's something.
And this will just cool?
This will just cool, and then we can peel it right off. That's the good part about it. Now you can make little swirls. Whoops, but well, we do have to keep the top. That's a nice pattern there, Susan.
Just when you thought it looked so easy.
There you go. And if we wanted to, what we can do, I'll come and cut a great big opening here, because we can also then just put this out as a big.
Oh, look at that.
And then we're going to spread it out with a spatula. And then as it sets, what we can do is use cutters, cookie cutters.
Oh, that's a great idea.
The only thing we have
this
to
is just a little parchment
This
paper.
is a little parchment, or you can use wax paper, is fine. The only thing we have to worry about is not having to get completely set, because
Okay.
then it's too brittle to cut out. But that's really easy, and the kids can help with that. And you can make these candy colors come in all the regular fun colors that you can make any color you want. And then we'll just cut those out after it's set. And you can see these are starting to set up already.
We're going to assemble the cranberry one.
Yes, the cran brandy chiffon.
Okay.
So we have our cranberries in here with the sugar. We had some water in here and the brandy.
How much brandy?
That Each of these
You
recipes
eyeball
have
it?
3 tablespoons.
Okay.
All right, so you have not quite, if you eat one of these bigger ones, that's about 3/4 of a tablespoon.
Okay.
So if you have 2 of them, you almost have a drink there. That's okay. We'll be eating responsibly. We won't worry about it. All right, so this is going to be the little decoration for the bottom and the top, and it's just cranberry jelly.
That you buy in the store?
You buy in the store, and it comes in one of those little tubes, and we're just going to cut little cubes out of them. If you had a little cookie cutter, like a little aspic color, you can cut different shapes, but we just have little cubes.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is just, especially, I like to put these all around the edges. So you'd go all the way around the edge, because then you can see them when you have your brandy.
Oh, yeah.
When we put our cranberry chiffon in them.
Okay.
These I can just throw in, because you want something on the bottom, you want a little bit of a different look to them.
Okay.
Okay, and they're kind of fun to use. And they also are a little sweeter, so when we have the brandy in, it's quite a
Has a little bit of a
It has
bite.
a little bite. Yeah, so sometimes it's fun just to make sure that we have something a little sweeter. So now what we're going to do, we're going to assemble this. We're going to take some of our, now our egg whites will never be much firmer than this, okay? So don't worry about when you whip up your egg whites that they aren't firm peaks.
This is just egg whites
Egg
and
whites
sugar.
and sugar, and we're just doing a folding action with this, okay?
Folding that
Now
into
these
the
cranberries, if you have any left over from Thanksgiving, here you go.
That'll work?
This will work. Just put some brandy in it, you're set to go. And we're
Okay.
going to have to soften the gelatin. But if you want them a little softer, then what I would do, I would just take a blender and just blend them. But I kind of like the bits of the cranberry in there.
Okay.
Okay, and then we're going to take some of our cream and the same thing. Now, again, remember you want this soft so we can pour it. Okay, so we're folding it
So you
and
just
folding
fold
it.
everything in.
Right, and then you want to fold it until you don't see the white. And I like the technique where I flip it over with my, it's just,
That's
some
a
people,
nice way to blend it.
it's kind of awkward, but you just want to flip that over.
Okay.
Okay, now it will thicken up because first of all, cranberries has a lot of pectin, so that'll thicken it. And then we have our gelatin, which will also thicken it. So we don't have to worry about it not thickening up. All right, so we're going to put that in. Now this has gotten a little thick because I had my cream a little thicker.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is I can use a spatula then just to pour it in, okay?
Just pour it on top of the
Pour it
cranberries.
on top of the cranberries. And then it's important because I want to make sure that it's going to seek its own level. Just give it a little tap,
Okay.
okay? And shake it a little bit.
It's nice and even.
So it's nice and even. And the same thing with our smaller ones. We might need a littler spoon with that.
Do you ever put it in a pastry bag?
I
Is that a
don't
way to-
because it should be a little bit softer than this yet, quite runny actually, so that if I use just a container like this, I should be able to pour it
Oh,
out.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
All right, so I would just again tap it and make sure that it's all, and it's getting, now you can see it's starting to thicken already because we've had our gelatin and our cream.
Right.
So that it's a little soft. There we go. Okay. All right, so we can put these in the fridge now for a couple of hours, then we're going to take them out. And then if we have any leftover cream, we can then, or whip some new cream, and then put a little swirl on the top and more decorations, and we're all set with our dessert.
It's beautiful. And in the old-fashioned ones, you have a little gingerbread cookie. That's a great
Right.
idea.
Well, and I
and
love the flavor with the brandy.
the
It
cherry and
actually
the
does.
orange, like the
Just
real
like
drink.
a drink. Just like
Yeah.
a drink. All right, and all I'm going to say to you, Susan, is eat responsibly.
Yes, yes, that I need to know.